John, obviously good news today or this morning that Michael Crow's re-signed for 4 years.
Wonderful news for the footy club, yeah, good. Obviously good for Mark. He's very happy with that, and the club pushes ahead with signing key players for the future.
Were you confident he was going to stay the whole way through the negotiations?
I don't really get involved in them, so I don't really have any feeling either way. But obviously, he's been a wonderful player for the footy club, and it's great to have him here. So, good young man, and wrapped to most likely now see him finish out his career here.
How's Shannon Hurn?
Not that flash. No, pretty bad sort of injury to his ankle. So bracing for the worst scenario is he'll need some surgery and be out for a couple of months, which that certainly could be the case. We'll get all that confirmed a bit later, but at best he'll miss a couple of weeks.
What did he do?
We'll put out something around the technical terms, but there's some sort of tendon that he's torn in his ankle, not a ligament. Most strained ankles are ligament sprains. This is a tendon, so a lot more serious.
You can see through the surface at all?
No.
What does it do to your game plan losing a player like that?
Not too much, no. Game plan will stay about the same.
Is your go-to man for the kick-outs who takes on that?
Fix that, yeah, but he doesn't take them all. So who took them after the first 10 minutes on the weekend? There's your answer. Go back and check.
Yeah.
Butler, Blaine Wilson, Schofield, Waters, so all take turns.
And Shuey and Selwood, they okay after the knocks?
Shuey's good, yep. Scott Selwood, not so good. Got a sore thumb. So it looks like he'll miss a number of weeks as well. Yeah, so again, once all that's confirmed, I think our docs are meeting now, going through all the scenarios, but not good for Scotty Selwood.
That does affect a bit of your sort of your makeup, your structure and your game style with losing Selwood and Hurn now. But Selwood, who are some of you turned to go into the centre square and possibly even run with some of the key Essendon?
Yeah, well, obviously Dalziel started as a sub on the weekend, so he'll put his hand up to play a more full game. Hutchings is in top form, and we're wrapped to have already given him a few opportunities this year. So he's right. Shepherd's available, right to go. So we've got those sort of players that will push to come into the side this week.
That could play that run with role that Scott's done effectively.
Yeah. Well, Scott hasn't really had tight run with roles too much this year. So we'll assess how we want to use specific players. But, we've got replacements for those guys.
It's been a tough year for injury, hasn't it, John? When you think you're just getting in front of it all and under control, something like that happens again. Yeah,
well, every time we feel as though it's on the horizon of having all the players available. We've had some serious injuries, but that's footy. On we go. I think Shannon didn't play much of the game at all the other night. We still competed pretty strongly, so we still believe that we can compete really strongly with every team in the competition.
What did you make of the Andrew Embley incident?
Just one of those things, a bit of a throwback from the past. They used to happen all the time. They're not things that, they're not malicious. They're not there to cause injury. They're just there to basically tell someone to stop grabbing hold of you. But with the coverage of today's game and the rules that are in place, you pay a price. So Andrew will pay a price, and we'll move on.
It's kind of out of character for Enders, would you say?
You can judge his character on what you see in that. Yeah, I know him well on and off the field. It was he's disappointed that he acted that way. He knows it's going to hurt the team.
You said last week Sharon Willingham was close to returning to football this week. Any temptation to bring him straight in?
Not this week, no. No, he won't play footy this week. He hasn't done enough yet.
This next stretch with guys like Adam Selwood and Embley as well, they'll probably have a couple of weeks out at least. Coming back, does it affect their futures with them being out of contract at the end of the season?
No, it won't.
How did you assess Friday night now that you've had quite a lot of day to look at it and review the match?
It was a game where we really matched Hawthorn and played the way we wanted to play for big parts of the game. Weren't good enough to win the game. Hawthorn were good enough to get it done when it had to be done. But we believe what we got out of that game was that some of the areas we wanted to be sharper and better at, we showed where we can do it, and that's our aim, to keep improving in those areas.
Pat McGinty coming in as a bit more of a defensive forward, does that add a lot to your group? Because you haven't had sort of a pure defensive forward like him for a little while.
No, we haven't, and it's not something that we'll specifically go to every game. We'll weigh that up. Yeah, Paddy did it for a half, maybe not even that long, but it's something we can use at different times. So we'll weigh up whether that's the way we want to go this week or not.
John, just over halfway through the season now, what have been the biggest positives, do you think, from that first half? I mean, the way Josh Kennedy's come back and sitting top of the goal kicking, what have been some of the real positives that you've taken out of the first half of the year?
I think Maston's improvement again. I think that the attention that Gaff's copped this year, but the way he's showing that he's learning about how to deal with that and what he can still add to the team. Continued improvement from Shuey and Scott Selwood. Mackenzie's improvement again this year. Glass's form's been outstanding. So overall, there's a lot of good things there around where the squad's going to be at for a long period, not just the course of this year, but I think we've shored up the squad for the next 5 or 6 years.
And just on Gaff, he played a lot more sort of in the centre square, or whether it's more or not, you really looked comfortable there and very impressive.
Yeah, that's the next progression for him, to be able to play multiple roles rather than just being pigeonholed as a wingman. Play at half forward and impact the game, and also go through the middle.
You mentioned Maston. He seems to take a new step up every year from over the past 3 years. What's behind that? Is it work rate training?
It's the usual thing. When people were questioning Maston, he'd had 3 serious knee injuries. So people were questioning him on playing for 3 weeks and then missing maybe 6 or 8, coming back from a knee injury and not performing as a Brownlow medalist straight away. So naivety of critics, I think, people judging him on not really having a good run at it. Our view was always that once he had got on top of that interrupted preparation and played consistent footy, he would show where his talent lay, and he's shown that and keeps improving. So it's been wonderful that he's been able to string games together over the last 2 or 3 seasons.
Did he come into the club with maybe unfair expectations, given that?
No, I don't think so. I don't think anyone comes in with unfair expectations, but maybe the timing of the expectations can be unfair on players. You know, people want them to impact the game immediately. People, and you guys can go back and have a look at who made the comments that Nat Nui wasn't really that good when he first came in. You know, there's a lot of people who said that. People, I think, still have jobs in this industry. Yeah, they can get the odd one wrong, but some of them just say things for the sake of filling airtime. But, you know, there's a lot of people that question whether Scott Selwood was going to be a good player. And, you know, at the time, it makes for good stuff to talk about. Where does he rate amongst the other Selwood brothers? And various people have various opinions. But my time in the game says wait till they mature as players and assess them where they're at when they're... when they start to reach their peak, which we've still got Nat Nui and Selwood and Maston, who I don't think have peaked yet.
You guys were always confident you had talent when you got him.
Our recruiting guys have got a very good record over 20-odd years. They've got a pretty good record of picking players that come through and do well with opportunities.
Just back on McGrath, he's had an unlucky run with injury over the past 15 months. How do you assess his form at the moment, and do you expect him with more game time to keep building?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Again, he had, I think he rated up there on the weekend with as many possessions as anyone in the forward 50 at either end. 10 possessions inside the forward 50, which when he's really up and going, he'll turn those into more goals or more goal assists. But he's not far away. He's considering what he's been through, he's playing at a pretty elite level. Hawthorn are they're a wonderful team. So they probably, in terms of our performance trying to match them, I thought it was a really good game. Good game to watch. Good intense game by two pretty good teams. But other teams have beaten us by bigger margins this year. Does that mean they're better teams? I think Hawthorn deserve to be where they are. Their forward line is a gun forward line, and it's still got Cyril to come back into it. So their back line's holding up well. Their midfield's always been solid. So, they deserve to be rated where they are.
Are you convinced if you took that form of Friday against the best to the next month on a weekly basis that you could do enough to be back in strong contention for even top 4 or...
Oh, look, over the next 10 rounds, if we play our best footy, we should expect to win enough games to be playing in the finals.